have with us today Elizabeth Marquart. She's one of our top, very best agents in the company out of our West LA office. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.
So you have, we were talking a little bit before the interview, and you have had a phenomenal year. You said your best year ever. And I just kind of want to dig, agents are struggling in this market. It's transitioned from 100 million miles an hour to kind of a slow, normalized market. What have you done differently, and what do you attribute your success this year to?
It's hard because the year has really changed kind of mid-year. It started out really, really strong. And to be honest, I haven't changed a ton of what I'm doing with my clients, what I do to get clients. I am really relationship-based, believe in the Brian Buffini method, all of that. So that I've continued to do. The changes, I would say I'm just doing it more. I'm calling my clients more, touching base with them more, and just letting them know that I'm here for them. If they have questions, just even people who aren't thinking of selling, talking to them about what's happening, because they always maybe have friends who are thinking and they're talking to them. So if I can be the person who they tell their friends to call because I am educated and I know what I'm talking about, that's a great way to, help me spread the word and stay in their mind as well. And then as far as, our actual day-to-day deals in business, things have changed dramatically, and how I deal with escrows and listings and what we have to now offer buyers, that has changed night and day.
So I do want to get into your business, but let's start with something fun. You had your most expensive sale this year. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It was a house on Pettit in Encino. Can you tell us a little bit about that transaction?
I represented the buyer. They're one of my longtime clients. This is my fourth transaction with them. And they were buying this house. So at the same time, I sold their old house. And it was great. I mean, it was $6.5 million. Big, beautiful, awesome house. It was actually sold to my clients by one of the founders of Guess Jeans.
Oh, wow. So these are trusted clients that trust you and worked with you in the past, and you kept in touch with them over the years.
Absolutely. Yeah, I stay in touch with everyone for 20 years, even some of my clients. These people, like I said, this was their fourth transaction with me.
Wow.
So I've probably known them almost 10 years.
So what have you been doing differently the second half of this year than you did before? And specifically, I know you're primarily a listing agent. And how are you talking to sellers about the price that is realistic these days compared to where it was 6 months ago?
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest challenge. I think whenever our market changes, the hardest thing is for the sellers to kind of accept that change. There's always, when the market is going crazy, the sellers want to price higher, and it seems like the buyers haven't caught up. And then when it switches, it's now the other way around. So the sellers are still thinking, well, I should be able to get more than my neighbor sold their house for. And I'm just explaining to them what's going on. I'm telling them how homes are sitting. We're seeing price reduction after price reduction, how these interest rates are hugely impacting what buyers will pay and even what they can afford. So I do that. I try to educate them from the buyer's perspective as well, because, if somebody was looking in January and they were qualified for $1.5 million at 3%, they're not qualified for that anymore. And they're still looking at the same houses. They haven't quite, adjusted their mindset either.
And talk about some of your recent listings and give us real life examples. You had mentioned a couple listings that were maybe in April, May, were $1.5 million that are now more like $1.2 million, $1.1 million.
Yeah, we have one house specifically that we did finally get it into escrow. It took several months, and just as a comparison, the house next door, literally next door, was torn down and purchased in March. They paid $1.4 million to tear it down.
Wow.
My house, which needs a little work, but isn't a tear down by any means, would have sold for that, or more back then. And now we sold for $1.1 million.
Wow.
Because that house was torn down, that really impacted, buyers. So it was that, but also these rates. because this is kind of a first-time buyer house in my neighborhood. So we had to offer $20,000 of credit so that buyers could buy down their rate.
And we're starting to see that more and more. And I think agents have to get creative in this market to figure it out, how to put these deals together.
Absolutely.
I know you're a big Buffini fan and been coached by Buffini for almost 20 years. Can you tell us how that shaped your business and what value do you get out of coaching?
You know, I started with Buffini about 6 months in. So it was right from the get-go. And one of the things I really do like about this business is I do like working with the people. I like creating those relationships and being the go-to person for them beyond just selling their house or helping them buy a house. I'm in touch with people forever. So that method of just relationship-based business is really where my heart is. So it's just a good fit. And as far as their coaching, you know, I think it depends on where you are. When I was newer in the business and needed more guidance and help and support in that way, they were there for me, as well as just the Buffini community. The one thing I really, really find kind of different, I think, about the Buffini community is how the other agents want to help you. And they don't feel like you're competing against them because they're from all over the country for the most part in Canada. So it's not like they don't want to share their secrets because they're your competition. You know, they want to help you. And now that I've been in this business a lot longer, I'm the one helping people. I'm the one speaking at some of the Buffini events or being the person that helps them as well. So I use my coaching now for different aspects, you know, more like mastermind stuff or helping me just figure out ways to stand out in the marketplace or work with my team members or, you know, all kinds of different things.
Since you've been an active participant in the Buffini, and I've seen you on stage and you do a wonderful job on the panels, have you seen an increase in referrals?
Oh yeah, huge. I decided probably 6 or 7 years ago to really treat my agents across the country that I know like my clients. I've tried every possible thing throughout, you know, my career. I gave money to realtor.com when it was a big thing, and I tried this or that, and none of them ever panned out. I never even got one lead that ever did anything. But through traveling, going to conferences, meeting people, and again, it's that personal connection. It's not just having my name on the list at Buffini. I send them cards every quarter. When I go to events, I have lunches that I set up with groups of 10, 15 agents, and I get a lot of referral business because of that.
That's fantastic. I think creating that community and really caring about people is what Buffini is all about, and you've taken it to the next level. Actually, I had my coaching call with Buffini today, and he said he was helping a client on the East Coast. They were trying to make that $1 million threshold. They were about $600,000-700,000. They were doing primarily lead gen on Zillow and Realtor.com. And when they switched the business to a relationship business, they were able to double their income, and they're now consistently making over $1 million. So that is fantastic. Talk about client appreciation parties. You like to entertain, and what does that look like, and how often do you do that?
That's where I spend my money. I don't advertise anywhere. I don't pay money to advertise anywhere. I put all my money into my client parties. So, for example, November is a very famous Buffini, you know, Thanksgiving pie party event. So I'll have that at my house. Usually 60 to 80 people come. For this one, I cook, believe it or not. People love my chili. I even sent out a survey asking if they would prefer to go to a restaurant. And they all said no.
Of course not. Homemade meals.
So we do that, but we do parties, I would say, you know, 5 or 6 a year, depending.
Wow.
I do bigger ones, smaller ones. One of my favorites that people love is I rent out the little local wine bar right down the street from my house, basically. It's a small place that can hold about 20. I rent it out a weeknight and pay for everything that night for 20 people who can come. We do, you know, puppy play date in the backyard. We do an event at the Armstrong Nursery where we just bring coffee and donuts, set up a little table, give out coupons, And then we get Armstrong to also give a discount for anybody who buys that day. I do an ice cream truck at my house every summer where I invite the neighborhood to that one. So some of them are kind of geographical as well. Like I'll want to have the shred truck at my house or the ice cream truck. I will invite my neighbors and, about 500 neighbors and my clients.
Wow.
So that was a dual.
And when you have these parties, do you have an agenda, or is it just a strictly social event?
Yeah, I don't force people to give me their name and phone number. People come and they'll say, do we have to sign in? And I don't. I give out propaganda from myself, I call it, my little flyers and things. I have a table if they want it, plus fun little giveaways. But I just talk to people. That's my deal is I just want to connect with people.
I know you're busy and I'll let you go, but what words of wisdom or advice could you give that people might be struggling in this market to get back on track?
I think right now, especially the hardest thing for agents is they want to run and hide and they don't want to talk to people because it's not always a fun conversation. But people actually, that's what they need from you the most. And if you're just honest and if you say, I get it, it's a struggle for me too, but we're in this together and I'm here to support you and we're going to figure it out. That house I told you that's been on the market for several months, I have those conversations with them all the time, and I let them know. I'm not looking for them to, feel sorry for me or whatever, but I will say, this keeps me up at night. And it's true. I think about your house in the middle of the night and I want to do whatever we can do. And I think if you talk to people that way and you're honest and you show them that you care, that is really important.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you spending your precious time with us today. Elizabeth Marquart, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you real soon.